Hey Bible lovers, I'm Tim Nichols, and I'm here to bring you your Nichols Worth, and today we have a rebind from Rockwall Bibles. Now, I had him do a rebind for me some time ago, and I wanted to see some of his progress, so I picked this one up in order to see how he's doing. Now, it's going to look a little green on the camera, but I do reassure you this is a gray Pueblo, and it is absolutely beautiful. It does seem to have a little bit of a green tint to it, but trust me, it is gray. So first, what we're going to do is show you his first Bible that he did for me so you can see some of his improvements. First of all, the yap looks a lot better on this one. The tool work is a little more defined. Part of that may be because of the leather, but one thing I liked about him right away was the way he did his spine hubs with that kind of octagonal, like that half octagon look. Really nice, but you can see that spine is just a lot more rounded now. It just really has a more clean and more polished look. Really love his logo stamp there, blind. As you can see, this leather, it didn't stamp as good, but you can just see some subtle differences and improvements there with these two, but excellent. Another thing that he offers now that he didn't offer before is speckled page edges. And this one almost kind of has a Starry Night look, if you're thinking kind of Van Gogh-ish. Really, really slick. Love those navy and gray head and tail band, 3 Beresford ribbons, sort of a silverish blue, and then a navy. Just looks really good together. So now let's take a look at this gilt line, because that looks good as well. Love gray and silver together. I just think it is absolute perfection. And let's go ahead and compare it to his previous one. You can see he struggled a bit with his gilt lines early on with his work. Corners looked pretty good, but the gilt line needed a little bit of help, and you can see he's got that cleaned up. I love that he does thicker gilt lines rather than those super thin ones. Absolutely beautiful. Now, one thing to point out, this is the personal paragraph reference in the LSB, and you can see the words of Christ in this one are in red, but the words of Christ in this one are in black. This is the premium edition issued by Steadfast. The premium has the words of Christ in black. The non-premium edition does not have any page gilding, and it has the words of Christ in red. So that's why this one was speckled. Looks really nice. I think he did a fantastic job. Corners look good and solid on this. The tool work is just absolutely outstanding. This gray just really takes to tool work well. Beautiful yap, just 100% perfect all the way around, right where I like it, just a little bit shy. And I would call that a generous yap. I am not one that likes an overly full yap like this one, especially on a smaller block, because look how big that looks. It just looks so ginormous, and then it goes over. That's just too much for me. This is really the sweet spot, and I love the look that this has versus this. I like them both, don't get me wrong. But there's something just about that shorter yap that really makes this look a little more natural to me. I love this leather. Now, this is not like the waxy. This has kind of a rough finish, and it doesn't really have as much of that pull-up effect. But what it does is over time, I'm going to show you one I've had a long time. This one was rough and flat like that. As you can see, as I've used it, it's developed a little bit of a shine, and it's got a smoothness and just really excellent and outstanding. I love this Pueblo leather. This is the yellow. This is the gray. This is the sapphire, which is a beautiful blue. This is the Olmo. The Olmo stamp's really nice as well. And then lastly, this is the Hortensia. Really beautiful. Now, one thing about Pueblo leather is when you get it wet, you can see it'll discolor in spots. That's just part of having a leather like this. But you can see even this one is starting to get a little bit of a shine to it. Just really, really nice. So I love this leather, but I think the gray really looks the best of all of them. It has that stone look to it, has a little smoky feel to it, and this still has that rough feel. You can see it doesn't have much of a shine yet, but as you use it and as you hold it in your hand, it's going to develop that. But Rockwall does some solid work when it comes to rebinds, and he's also pretty affordable in comparison to a lot of the others. And with a compact Bible, one thing that's hard to get it to do is to get it to lay flat. That edge line tab is very well done. You can see right here. It's nicely cut, and then he trims it off at the edge so that you don't have that unsightly leather spot there. But let's go ahead and go to the beginning. We're going to go to Genesis, and we're just going to lay it down. And you can see compact Bible, which this is called a personal size, but I would call it a compact. It's going to struggle a little bit to lay flat early on, but this isn't doing too bad. Here we are in the foreword. Give it a little bit of a push. And it's laying flat, hands-free. This is going to pop up. This is such a small Bible, but as you go throughout it, going into the book of Revelation, toward the end, generally Revelation lays flat a little bit easier because you got some concordance or maps, but this one actually does not have any concordance. Once you get to the end, you're going to have some monetary units, weights and measures, and that's really it. When you get your page dyed like that, sometimes those pages will stick together. You just pull them apart. Bam. Not bad. This is some excellent work. I think Rockwall does some unique work, especially with his spine. I love those raised hubs. This just looks excellent. God bless you. Keep calm. Jesus on. This is your Nicholsworth.